Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's the thing. He had a career. Yep. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sportz Nutz. Yo, we are closing on episode 40. How cool is that, Matt?
Man, time flies, man. Time flies when you're having fun.
Amen to that. When you're having fun, ain't nothing but a chicken wing, right? Hey, guys, we actually have a very good episode lined up for everybody tonight. We are talking with the Carolina Disco Turkeys GM, and I believe he's the president, Greg Sullivan, shortly with the Disco Turkeys. We are going to talk about week 2 of this amazing NFL season so far. And we're going to talk about some of the craziest games of week 3, technically week 4 in college football. Guys, I can't tell you enough. We got to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Tequila's Grill in Easley, South Carolina. Guys, if you're looking for some authentic, delicious, and affordable Mexican cuisine, Tequila's Grill is where you want to be. From everybody's favorite, including Matt's, the homemade salsa bar, to my favorite, the weekly happy hour, which is buy one, get one, 50% off on drinks from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And of course, you can't go wrong with the chimichangas. Tequila's has everything you want. Hey, do you have an event coming up, or even better, a birthday celebration? Go ahead, give them a call right now, 864-307-8028, or even better, stop on by 51 and 55 Calhoun Memorial Highway in Easley, South Carolina, 29640. Again, that's Tequila's Grill in Easley. Matt, before we go to our guest, just give everybody a glimpse of how your weekend was, man.
Man, it was a glorious weekend. Weekend full of victory, and a weekend full of weekend full of a good time. Football. Like I said previously in the previous episode, it was just going to be a weekend about football, man. College football, NFL. Just sat back and just watched, man, and just enjoyed it. And then Monday Night Football came around and made it even better, man. That was the cherry on top.
Oh, guys, there is a reason why I'm wearing this today, and I'm not going to get flagged. I'm telling you now, the Dirty Birds, they did, in fact, rise up, and they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, I don't know if you saw it, Jesse Bates did the Dirty Bird dance. So excited about that. Hey, guys, let's not make him wait any further. He is the president and I believe the general manager of the Carolina Disco Turkeys. They are a summer collegiate minor league, kind of like a minor league baseball team. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Greg Sullivan. Greg, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, guys. Doing great. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm hungry for some Tequila's Grill now, so it's a few hours away. So
I'm telling you, it's really good food. So, all right, Matt and I have known each other for 20 plus years, right? And he lives in Atlanta. I live in Easley. It's an hour, literally from my house to his house is an hour and 47 minutes. And when we do our live on locations, you want to talk about, I don't know if you've ever heard the term Book 'em Dano with Hawaii Five-0. Yeah, this guy, he book 'em Danos to my house, and he is like first in line to get 3 plates at Tequila's Grill. So pretty good food there.
Don't threaten me with a good time,
Yeah.
Amen. Hey, so Greg, it was really cool. I happened to log on to Twitter a few weeks ago, and you guys had liked our page, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. I've never heard of the Disco Turkeys." And then so I did a little more research on you, and that's when I asked you to give me a little synopsis of the team. Can you kind of, explain to our fans what the Disco Turkeys are and the league they play in?
Yeah, happy to. So we're a summer collegiate baseball team, getting ready for our 5th summer next year, working on the roster, now for 2025, and excited to come back around for another summer. We just finished our fourth year, and had a lot of fun. We're part of the Southern Collegiate Baseball League. It's headquartered in the Charlotte area, so it's 8 teams with rosters made up of current college players. So our team had players this summer from Penn State, Wake Forest, schools like High Point University. We have a lot of mid-major D1 schools, and then junior colleges and kind of everywhere in between. And really, put on a good show. Like it's a minor league baseball experience, for families. The only difference is we play during the college off season or the college summer. So mostly from Memorial Day through into July. So it's a lot of fun. And I think what makes our team unique and special is the brand. People all over the world like the Carolina Disco Turkeys because of the logo. We've got a peacock character called a disco turkey who looks like John Travolta doing his like 70s style, disco dancing. So that's been a lot of fun. So we've got a local fan base, absolutely, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We also have a regional, following and a national and international following. We've, shipped T-shirts and hats frequently to Canada, UK. And like when I look at orders on our website, it's not even so much North Carolina. It's like California, Illinois, Georgia, Florida. So really unique, but cool. And there are teams like us around the country. We are probably among the better known ones, but it's an area of baseball that's grown. And I think, really ever since Bull Durham and I guess the 80s, minor league baseball has been a place where people, look for as far as you can go have a beer, a hot dog, watch a game, bring your family out. It's a good family atmosphere. And I think summer collegiate baseball is kind of the same thing. And really, has helped a lot of sometimes smaller towns that maybe aren't quite big enough to have an affiliated minor league team, have a team. So it's a cool thing. And the players on the team have a lot of fun. They're getting better for their college teams. And then, on top of that, our local community gets excited about it and, gets to buy shirts and hats at the games. And, we actually, this year, for the first time, we started letting all youth baseball players that wear their team's jersey in for free. So, their parents buy a ticket, but the kid gets in free, and we're hoping it's like the whole team of 10 or 15 kids comes, and that's the kind of atmosphere we're trying to go for, is a bunch of loud fans.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's a lot of fun to go to minor league events. We have actually we're about to have 2 minor league teams in the upstate of South Carolina. We have the Greenville Drive, which is the single high A affiliate of the Boston Red Sox. And starting in 2025, we have the Sparkle City Spartanburgers. Yes, it's based out of Spartanburg. They are the single high A affiliate of the Texas Rangers. So it's going to be cool to have 2 minor league affiliates within an hour's base of each other driving time. Kind of give people what the experience is like going to a disco turkey game. I know that. You say it's a summer collegiate kind of minor league baseball style. What do fans say they enjoy most about the games?
Yeah, I think it's I grew up in Atlanta, so I guess I have a lot in common with you guys. So I grew up going to Braves games because for our family, it would be just as close of a drive to a Braves game as it would be to go to like a Chattanooga Lookouts game, or, Rome Braves weren't there when I was a kid, but, maybe going to their game. But the lower you go, going down to AAA, AA, all the way to summer collegiate teams, the more kind of eccentric the teams can get. It's a little less corporate. You're it's a little bit, maybe fewer rules to follow for us in particular. So, for example, we haven't done a whole lot of this, but in theory, we could have a fan or a sponsor or somebody coaching first base if we wanted to. We could experiment a little bit. And I think the Savannah Bananas are a team that have gotten some attention, doing some outside the box stuff like that. And for us in particular, we do a lot with music. So we've had live music at some games. We've had, really pick a different kind of playlist. We'll play some disco. We also, we do know that like some people have season tickets. They might not want all disco every game for every home game. So what we've tended to do is all the players will get assigned like disco walk-up music. So there will be these like 20-second clips of disco kind of sprinkled throughout the game. And then between innings, it'll be something different, so that'll kind of give people a chance to rest and then go back into the disco. But yeah, we've been a very innovative team. And one thing, I think you guys might be especially interested in is, you probably heard that the Braves and Reds have a NASCAR series coming up next year.
Bristol, yeah.
Yeah, so we, I don't know, if they're even aware of us or what we've done in the past. They may have never heard of us, but we actually played on a NASCAR track last season, and we were the first ever baseball game played at a facility that had been there for, decades and decades. Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. It was one of the few facilities where you can pull it off, kind of like the Dodgers. They sometimes have played at LA Coliseum and then Bristol. It's a NASCAR facility that Winston-Salem State's football team plays games on. So if you, I don't know how familiar you are with NASCAR, but a lot of the facilities have, like buildings in the infield. And since there's football at some of the games at that facility, they don't have that. So we were able to go in and put up some temporary fencing. We had to get kind of creative with how we did it. Well, we actually played 3 baseball games in 2023 at Bowman Gray Stadium. And then not only was there the Braves announcement recently, but NASCAR's decided to put a race on their calendar for 2025 at Bowman Gray Stadium. So we feel like cool. We've got something in common with the big boys,
Yeah, you started something a little revolutionary. That's really cool. I like that. Matt, you have a question. Go ahead and ask.
Yeah. Hey, Greg. What inspired the creation of the Disco Turkeys, and also how did you come up with the name?
Yeah. Well, what inspired the creation, I think, I like personally just like to build things. So, I'd been around this level of baseball over time and knew what it took. And it is a ton of work, but knew I could pull it off, with some work and some help. And as far as the name, one thing that we benefited from there is there was already a team in our town called the Winston-Salem Dash. So that freed us up a little bit, because I think a lot of times teams that are created, they feel like they have to come up with something that's going to appeal to everybody a little bit, and to have something very, very tied in to the nature of the town. So Spartan Burgers, I don't know if that's the best example, but a lot of, like if you were starting a team in Georgia, you might come up with something related to peaches or something like that. And, since there was already a team in our town, we were like, would this work? And that really put us in a position to experiment. And it was very exciting, the first day or two after we announced the team, when we were kind of felt, okay, people responded really well to this. That's really cool.
It's funny you actually mentioned, because you did mention the fact that the Spartanburgers actually were at one point in the COVID year. They were a collegiate summer team. They only lasted 8 games and then they folded. And a lot of the talk around here in the upstate is they spent $30 million on a recycled name, which, that's how much they did spend, was $30 million to get this team from the Down East Wood Ducks is what they were called.
Yep.
And they brought them over here. Well, then, you said like getting a team with Georgia, something related to the Peaches. Well, I don't know if you had heard recently, actually, the Mississippi Braves, they are moving to Columbus, Georgia, and they're going to be called the Columbus Clingstones, which is a type of peach. So, and their logo actually is a peach with a bat. It kind of reminded me of the Rockfield Peaches from the what was that movie called? A League of Their Own. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. And so it's pretty cool that there are like these types of leagues around. And now, what is the pace that do the players get paid, or is it through like NIL deals?
Yeah, so the players don't get paid in summer collegiate teams, at least right now. I mean, I think there is potentially a future of. I mean, I don't know. I saw something today online where Tennessee is doing something where a certain percentage of their ticket sales are starting to go to athletes in the future. So, I could see that kind of thing coming to this level of play. That said, it's the costs of facility rentals and building a staff and the short season and stuff, I think it'll probably be pretty hard for most teams to do, just at least initially, because of just the costs of putting on a team. And, not everyone has a massive fan base yet. So, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see, the landscape's always changing in college sports. And I think we're part of the college sports landscape in a way.
How many games? I'm looking at your schedule, and just off the top of my head, it does look like you play a significant schedule. How many games do y'all play in a season roughly?
Yeah, we've played around 40, 42, 43. So, about half at home, half away. It's really busy for a couple months there. It takes over your life, but and then, really from December through May, it's working on the next season pretty hard, getting all the players lined up, talking to schools, talking to the players, going out and getting sponsors in the community is a big part of it. So, which is the nature of sports at every level, but, it's really important for the small teams for sure.
I'm looking at some of the names, and they are like awesome names. I mean, you're talking about the Spinners, the Corn Dogs, the Regulators, the Bootleggers. I mean, the names, like some of these names, I think you guys have hit the nail on the head. How many people do your stands fit, and on average, how many people attend a Disco Turkey game?
Yeah, the Disco Turkeys are unique in that we have a huge facility. We actually play most of our home games at Wake Forest University's Couch Ballpark. So before Wake Forest took it over, it was a affiliated minor league stadium. I guess it might have downsized a bit, and they, definitely invested a lot in the quality of the facility, turf surface and all that. Wake Forest, with their success on the field, it's definitely paid off for us and just the venue for sure. But yeah, I mean, I would say right now, we'll have games in that 1,000, 1,500 crowd, and then sometimes smaller. But we tend to play on weekends as much as possible to get those types of crowds. And, 4th of July is big. This year, the other team in town, the minor league team, isn't playing at home on the 4th. So we're hoping for a even bigger turnout for that one. But yeah, other teams sometimes play in much smaller places. We actually operate a team in Albemarle, North Carolina, called the Uwharrie Wampus Cats, and their facility is more of a 600 or 700 is the seating.
Whoa.
Yeah, and we've had more fans, kind of bring in lawn chairs, spillover kind of stuff. We've had close to 1,000 at a couple games down there, but it's real. It ranges from kind of that corporate minor league experience all the way down to something kind of grassroots, So sometimes there are smaller communities that probably couldn't support a massive stadium, but there's still an opportunity for them to, field a team and build their community around a sports team.
Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I want you to kind of tell us and tell the fans about you. How did you come into owning or being a part owner or being even helping to create the Disco Turkeys? How like what was it like one day you woke up and said, you know what, I just want to own a team, or like how did that process start? And take us from there to where you're at now.
Right. Yeah. So I'm when I went to the University of Georgia a long time ago and was a journalism major, so not a typical path, I guess, but worked for newspapers and was a sports writer at a small paper down there, and then eventually at the Tennessean in Nashville, I covered Vanderbilt University athletics, the Nashville Predators hockey team, but also I spent a lot of the summer covering the Nashville Sounds AAA baseball team and up there. And there was a new team in what was called the Prospect League at that time, called the Nashville Outlaws, that was around a couple seasons and did some cool things. So, I got some experience covering that level of baseball, which to me was new. I think, in other parts of the country, it's been popular and part of the ecosystem for a long time. But I think, 7 or 8, 10 years ago, not a lot of people have tried building essentially a minor league equivalent summer collegiate team in the South because of, I guess, a lot of reasons. But I saw someone else do it, and I spent a lot of time watching that. And, I think another big thing for me was covering the Sounds. I knew I was someone who could go to 70, 80 minor league games in a year and still want to do it the next year, which I don't think, like between covering bandy baseball and the games at the Sounds, I did it. So, I think you have to kind of know you're able to do that before you want to jump into something hands-on. But yeah, mostly covered these types of teams for newspapers, and then also have a marketing background, PR marketing for, corporate healthcare stuff in Winston-Salem. So kind of knew all the news people in town already and been around sports, and a little bit of a transition and a lot of research made it work.
You said you did some stuff in Athens area. I used to actually work at a radio station, powerathens.com.
Okay.
And to this day, and I think he will forever be my favorite boss, was Kevin Steele. I don't know if you recognize it. Yeah, he was a phenomenal boss, great friend. Him and I talk quite a bit still. And I actually, sorry you hear the background. My kids they're doing their homework. I just absolutely loved the area. Good area. I did my first ever media job actually was at a radio station, WDUN News Talk 550. They're based out of Gainesville, Georgia. However, I did a lot of coverage for UGA, Georgia Tech, Atlanta Falcons, and all the fun stuff, And what made you want to transition away from the media world to the world you're in now?
Yeah, I think what I always tell myself is that I just like building things and creating things. So I think I can see a little bit of a thread between whether that's producing content or articles and different types of writing and producing, and then building a small business. So especially one that's where you can be creative, yes, I still write press releases and things like that, but also, kind of create. There's a little bit of art to it. You want people to like it, but you get to experiment and get to try things. So I think that freedom draws myself, but also a lot of other people that, I've definitely seen. And I would say there are a lot of outside the box type people in this field, I see it with other teams I deal with. So it seems to draw us in.
Absolutely. So, my question now is also, when can Matt and I get the schedule so we can come make it to a game or two so we can cheer on you guys? Because I mean, there's a reason why we call ourselves the Sportz Nutz. We literally are sports fanatics. That's exactly what Matt and I are. The way Matt and I met actually was through basketball. I never played baseball, but I've always had a love. My sister in 1989 turned on TBS, had to turn the dial to Channel 3, and the Atlanta Braves were playing. And she said, "Here, watch them. You will like them. I promise you." Jessica is 7.5 years older than me, so I got the chance to watch the Braves. I was hooked instantly. Fell in love with baseball. Have always loved watching it, except for this season because the Atlanta Braves, they have the injury bug from hell with them. I mean, to have so many big name players out with injuries, it's really sad to see. But I'm a diehard Atlanta fan. I love everything Atlanta. As you see, I'm wearing the Atlanta Falcons shirt.
Yeah.
My history is I've been a diehard Falcons fan. Again, my sister so I'm gonna tell you now, my sister introduced me to all the sports of Atlanta. She took me to an Atlanta Hawks game when they played at the Omni, which I don't know if you remember the Omni. It was a rust bucket. It was a dump, but it was a great rust bucket.
Yeah.
I got to see the Atlanta Hawks set an NBA record, which I believe still exists. They won their 35th straight game at home at the Omni. They were playing the Milwaukee Bucks, and they won 88-87. It was a great game. I had a lot of fun going to it. Then Jessica got me interested in the Atlanta Falcons when they were playing at Fulton County Stadium. Matt actually is he is a diehard Atlanta Falcons fan too. We talk about the Falcons all the time. Well, then Jessica introduced me to the Atlanta Braves. She introduced me to the Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Falcons, and the only team that she never got me introduced to, because I found it myself, was the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA team. Now, it's funny you did say also the Nashville Sound. I don't know if you know who Buster Olney is, right?
I do, yeah.
So he put a report out about 6 weeks ago or so, maybe a little longer ago, that the MLB, because the magic number for baseball is forever changing for expansion teams. Well, one city that has been guaranteed, he said, is a 99.99% lock is Nashville, becoming the next MLB franchise. What do you think about the possibility that the Nashville Sounds could move up to MLB and then also, even be part of the same division of the Atlanta Braves?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. It's kind of an emotional and interesting topic for me. It's kind of the places I spent the most time until I was probably 30 or so. Yeah, it's if when people would bring up MLB in Nashville when I was a sports writer there, I think the common thing people would say, the conventional wisdom, I guess, was that there probably weren't enough Fortune 500 companies in Nashville at the time to buy the amount of suites and sponsorships to support a MLB team when they already had the Titans and the Predators in town. So I can kind of understand, that feeling at that time. And, I think it's grown significantly. My wife and I sold a house from there. So we kind of should have kept it, I guess, if we could have. The property value compared to other places has been insane.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would have been nice to still have that if that was possible. But Yeah, I mean, since then they've brought racing back. I think they've brought an MLS team into the city. You know, Vanderbilt. You know, Vanderbilt's Vanderbilt. I don't want to go on about them too much, but the SEC has gotten so big that it's really elevated them as well for their events. So, you know, I think as a sports town, it was cool when I was there in the kind of, you know, 2008 2009 kind of time period. But it's come a long way since. But yeah, I think, yeah, it would be kind of tricky, right? Because Braves country is, you know, the Braves, because of TBS, like you referenced, it's really this team of the South. And I know that, you know, Florida, since I've been a kid, they've added the Marlins and the Rays. You know, DC has a team. You know, and so, like, I guess the Braves territory has shrunk somewhat. Um, Between TBS not, you know, being a everyday airing of the
Yep.
Braves, and then new teams coming. But I think, you know, that would probably be a bigger blow to their regional status, I guess, because Nashville, you know, is really kind of more in the heart of Braves country than some of those other
Mm-hmm.
places that are on the edge. Um, I guess, you know, I would wonder how it would affect the Braves. Um, Maybe their TV revenue and that kind of thing. Because I know they've, you know, back in the day, their deals weren't very good, but I think their deals now are helping them get good free agents and keep good players. So as a Braves fan, you know, I don't
Yep.
know if it's the best thing in the world, but I mean, I do think Nashville, I'd hate to bet against them at this point because they've proven over and over that every time they get a chance to have something bigger and better, they support it. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
So before going further on that one, you hit the nail on the head with Nashville. Nashville is a gold mine with all their sporting teams. I've gone to a couple Preds games. That place, and so I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. I've been a Lightning fan since 12 because I lived in St. Petersburg, Tampa area, and you know the Thrashers. They've been gone for a long time, so I needed a team to cheer on, and I've always been a hockey fanatic. You know, Matt and I have gone to several. Back then, they were called the Gwinnett Gladiators. Now they're called the Atlanta Gladiators, and we've gone to a couple of them. And I had a blast. I've always had a blast going. We have a team here called the Greenville Swamp Rabbit. That's a lot of fun to go to. They're the minor league affiliate, or the ECHL affiliate, I should say, of the Los Angeles Kings. That's a whole different ballpark in itself. But you know, hockey is fun. And every time I went to a Preds game, the whole place was sold out. You know, and they do the "You suck" chant every time the other team's goalie gives up a goal, and it's literally the entire arena. It's just something about it. And you know, Nashville really is the place you want to go if you want to get a Major League Baseball team, because they're extremely successful with Nashville FC, which is the MLS franchise. And they are a huge success with the Preds. They're a great success with the Tennessee Titans. Unfortunately, right now they're not, because you know they're going through a transitional period.
Mm-hmm.
But they still sell out Nissan Stadium all the time, and it's just a great home experience. Matt, what do you think about the most likely potential that the Nashville Sounds minor league baseball team could move up to possibly even play in the Atlanta Braves division?
I think that'd be a great thing, man. That'd be a great thing for the city as well. I mean, the actual city itself. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful city, man. Especially that strip. I can never remember the name of the strip, but there's a strip there that
Broadway.
Yes. I remember when they had the NFL draft there a few years ago. I went there, man. That was my first time there. One of the most insane and memorable moments that I ever had. So I mean, great area, great location, a great sports town. Fans love their sports, great fans. I think that'd be a good thing for them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Greg, we're excited for any and every sport. You know, part of the reason why I started this is my wife. You know, bless her heart, she gets sick and tired, and Matt can tell you this. She gets sick and tired of me talking sports 24/7. When I come home from work, the first thing that I do, I sit down in my chair, which I'm sitting here right now, And I turn on ESPN, and she goes, "Oh God, here we go. We're watching sports." And I work at a radio station here in the upstate, and it's a sports station. And people have said, "You really like to go work at a sports station, come home and watch sports?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I do. It's just a comfort." So Cassie's going on 8 years ago now has said, "You need to start a sports podcast." And she said, "But make it different than any others." And I said, "How do I do it?" She goes, "Make your own identity. Focus on not only big, but small. And you will be amazed at the turnout you get." Well, that's exactly what we did. We started out medium-sized to big, but Matt will tell you, we've gone to a lot of smaller, like schools, like with like conference schools, with baseball teams, with football teams, you name it, we have started to cover. I mean, heck, we're even trying to get disc golf teams on there, because there is a pro disc golf league, and we're interested in that kind of stuff. And the amount of the great receptions that we've had is amazing, and we are thrilled to have you. So please, if you can, let us know when you get that schedule out, because we're going to be, Matt and I will be there. We will be there
Absolutely.
to cheer on you guys, because this is exciting, to learn about smaller, not so big named kind of things. It's like, why not get a chance to enjoy? Because at the end of the day, sports are sports, and sports are fun. They unite us. They, when the we said this many times, when the Olympics were around, no matter if you were left, you were right, you were up, you were down, you were whatever direction, what brought you all together was sports, and sports makes the world go round. Matt, you had a question you wanted to ask him. Go ahead and ask.
Yeah, Greg. My question pretty much, man, is what's the vision? Where do you see the disco turkeys going? Where do you want them to go? Like how far are you trying to take the disco turkeys?
Yeah, I'd like to see us really, expand, our fan base, just see packed crowds. I mean, I think one cool thing is we have the big facility. So there's a need or a want to fill it up, we can get up to 3,800 people in our facility. So it's a unique thing for a team like us, and it gives us room to grow. So that's the goal, I think. And, and then just kind of expanding, whether that's having some youth camps that, get kids excited, really kind of build us even more into the community. I mean, that's a priority. And then, figuring out how to grow our fan base locally. We've done some cool stuff nationally, but I think there is still, I mean, to be honest with you, just still an appetite to get on everyone's radar, be the team everyone talks about. So, we've turned some heads with the name and the logo, and, we're always looking for ways to get the name out there and get the excitement. So, and our local fans care about that too. They like having something fun to tell their relatives about and stuff that don't live here. And the players get a kick out of it too, because, when they go back in the fall to their college, they're like, "Well, what'd you do this summer? You wouldn't believe the name of this team I played for." So that's I think we can keep growing. And, I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm open-minded to any avenues we can take to grow.
Awesome. So, and also, what was the process like, creating that logo? I've seen the logo. I love it, by the way. What was
It's awesome.
How was that process? Was that the first and final decision? Were there many mock-ups? Like how did that process go of creating the logo?
Yeah, we knew we wanted the name. So I think we had the name before the actual art and the logo. And, I think early on I knew I wanted it to be, an actual peacock doing something. Didn't necessarily know I'd want him in a leisure suit, but as we were kind of talking through, possibilities, that was one of the first things that our team came up with was, something to make just the name stand out. And I think our design person, his idea to, pair that John Travolta move with Babe Ruth calling a shot was brilliant. And that's kind of, I think we had a good idea initially, but that's when it all started take off, and
Yeah.
we were like, oh, this is going to be something. People are going to like this, and they really have. It's been fun. And I like to say it's a conversation starter, and I think any kind of brand or business, if you can be something people are talking about, hopefully positive, but even if they're just talking about how crazy it is, that's still a good thing for somebody trying to grow.
Absolutely.
Well, Greg, here's what we're gonna do. We at the Sportz Nutz, we are going to promote you guys as much as possible because we want you guys to continue to grow the brand because, guys, it is sports. Baseball, it is America's pastime. It's fun. It's family friendly. You heard him say, y'all, it is family friendly. It is fun. It's just a good way to go have a beer, hot dog, and talk sports and be with your family, be with your friends. Greg, could you please tell everybody where they can find you on social media? Because you're going to have a lot of followers now, sir.
There you go. Yeah, we're at all the platforms at Disco Turkeys. So whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, that's where we're at Disco Turkeys, all one word, and then discoturkeys.com for the website. So yeah, come follow us. It's a fun follow, and sometimes we're telling you where our games are. Sometimes we're telling you about why we should be in the Pac-12 and none of these other lousy teams. And
I loved that tweet you put out there. That just a reminder: the Disco Turkeys didn't join the Pac-12, but you can find us here. I loved that. That was one of the best tweets by far. And hey,
That was good.
we're about to see some more fun athletics. So, guys, I'm telling you now, check Greg out. Check out the Disco Turkeys. I'm sure you're going to see a lot more, chatter come out about the season when it starts, who they're playing, that kind of stuff. Guys, check out their website for their gear. Their team gear is actually pretty neat. And, you do have John Travolta, the peacock, pointing that bat like, like Babe Ruth did. And check it out, guys. So, Greg, I really do appreciate we both enjoyed having you on. And please make sure you come on again because we really enjoyed you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Brandon, Matt. It's good talking to you guys, and have a good week.
You too.
You too. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, that was Greg Sullivan, the president, and I believe he's the owner, everything about the awesome Disco Turkeys. Please check them out. You're going to love it. Hey, Matt, let me ask you this, okay?
Go ahead.
First off, can I just get a rise up? Can I get a rise up right now, please?
I'm going to do you one better.
All right. Hey, and I got to do the next Dirty Bird dance. That's right. The Atlanta Falcons, y'all. They came to play, and they didn't back down. They were playing a formidable opponent, one of the toughest ones to play, and they played at Philadelphia. Which, by the way, for those who didn't see that stat line about Kirk Cousins, he was 0-2 against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. It's a pretty dismal record, right? No. Records are meant to be broken. Kirk Cousins, he came to play. Captain Kirk, you are the man. And, Matt, I don't know if you heard this little funny interview that he did at the end of the game. He said, and I quote, "I could have done better. I was not as good as I wanted to be." Y'all, he threw for 245 yards, 2 touchdowns. The dude looked electric. And I understand he had some questionable pass attempts. They could have even had a higher score. But, Matt, what do you give the grade for Kirk Cousins last night?
I give him a B+, man. I mean, he started kind of shaky a little bit, but then you can tell he got real comfortable in the pocket, man. And then he just started firing them, man. Especially that last drive, man. You got to give him an A+ for that last drive, man. Stood poised in the pocket, didn't react to the pressure, even though there wasn't any pressure, but didn't react to the pressure. And, man, stood tall and just made the right reads, man. So I give him an A+ for that last drive, but overall I give him a B+ for the game.
I'm kind of right there too. I give it a B+, A-. Like literally, it's like right there. How about and I idolize him. Scott Van Pelt looked like a dumbass last night. Excuse my language, folks. He looked really bad when he said it. Coming up, we will have instant reactions at the game, and the winner, which looks like it's going to be the home team. And what happened? The Atlanta Falcons won. And if you guys haven't seen it, go look on Twitter. And he is getting roasted because he looked really silly saying what he said because it didn't age well. Matt, what are your thoughts on seeing SVP getting roasted for saying one of the biggest boneheaded comments there is?
Well, I mean, it happens. We've seen worse. It happens, man.
Yes, we have.
And he's the kind of guy. He'll own up to it. And he'll take it on the chin, man. I mean, he's one of the best that ever done it, man. That's why he has his own segment and own show after the games. So we can let it slide here and there, man. There's no animosity towards him or anything like that, man. 99. The Eagles had a 99% chance of winning the game with like a minute and some change left, man. Just because they, didn't respect their opponent, by not like kicking field goals in the first quarter. When they had it there, they had the points. Always take the points. But anyway, they didn't respect their opponent, man. Then they came back and bit them. But not to take anything away from the Falcons, man. The Falcons stood neck and neck with them the whole entire game. And then, whenever a team responded, the other team came back with another response, man. It was a really good game, real good good defense on both sides. But both teams gave up a lot in the running game.
Hey, you're right. Yeah. But I don't know if you guys saw this, Matt, and as well, Atlanta stuck with the rushing attack from first to the fourth quarter, whereas the Eagles were the first quarter, part of the second, and then they just stopped basically running the ball the way they should have kept going with Saquon Barkley. I don't know if you did you happen to catch what Troy Aikman said about Saquon Barkley?
No, what did he say?
So he said, when all is said and done for Saquon Barkley, if he is to stay healthy the rest of his career, he will pass Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith and become the all-time leading rusher in NFL history. And I have to admit, I'm kind of agreeing right there because Saquon's a good player. Do I think that the Eagles should have continued to utilize him? Oh, they absolutely should have, because he was getting what, 9, 10, 11 yards per carry. And it's like that, if it ain't broke, don't fix kind of thing. Well, it wasn't broken. He was doing the thing. And then it's like the Eagles just said, you know what, Jalen, go run the ball. Go run the ball yourself and throw the ball and not do what you're capable of doing. And unfortunately came back and bit him in the backside. Do you agree?
Yeah, it did, man. As far as their comment about Saquon being up there with Emmitt, I don't think that'll happen, man. He's already 27. I think he's played, this is like his, 6th or 7th year in the league. He's only had 3,000-yard seasons, man. Injuries got him for about half of his career. I don't see him catching those guys, even because, running backs are going to decline around 30-ish, so to speak. So
look at Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, I don't see him getting there. Now, as far as reputation, yeah, that's a bad boy. When he's healthy, man, like I said last episode, Saquon with an offensive line is dangerous. Unfortunately, he spent most of his career with the Giants already. Ended up getting dinged up behind that putrid offensive line that they had. The line that got Eli killed. So I mean, man, it's just I don't see him getting there. But great running back, man. If he was with the Eagles his whole career, we might be talking about something different.
Oh yeah, we could be talking different. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, because he's that good. But I think when it's all said and done, Bijan Robinson will more than likely pass him up for career yardage when it's all said and done between both.
Bijan, guys, if you didn't watch the game, you were living under a rock. Bijan, I texted Matt and I said, first off, I said it's the Bijan show, and then secondly, I said he could easily put up 150 on the rushing attack. He could even put up 100. He could have had a 250 total yardage game last night had he kept going the way he was going. Excellent game. Matt, let's go. Speaking of which, let's go over some of the interesting games that happened in week 2. Are you ready?
Oh, let's do it.
All right. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I guarantee you Matt is probably going to agree. Tua, it's okay. You've done a lot. You accomplished a lot. You were a national champion. You got to play in the NFL. You got one of the richest contracts that has ever been bestowed upon a NFL quarterback. Go ahead, man. This last concussion you had, just you need to hang it up. You don't want to live think about your kids. You don't want to be a vegetable. The Dolphins, they got demolished by the Bills. The Bills, I was timid about them. Remember, I even told you, I said the Bills might be the team that could take a significant drop this year. And so far, they've proven me wrong, which I'm okay with. What are your takes on the Bills routing the Dolphins 31-10?
Ooh, man, I mean, even when Tua went down, they weren't close. I mean, the Bills had total control of their game regardless. I'm right there with you on the Bills, man. I just didn't think they had the receivers to stay afloat, man. But their quarterback is willing them. He's willing them, man, to victories. Defense is playing pretty good too. Defense is playing good against the run. Defense, Arcane did kind of run over them, but they're doing okay. They're doing what they need to do. So I mean, hats off to the Bills, man. Hats off to everybody over there in the coaching staff and the organization. They're doing what they need to do to stay afloat, and they're 2-0 right now. I'm pretty sure they're top their division. So, yeah.
Yep. All right. Now comes the interesting turn of events, guys. Right now, it looks like there's 3 out of the 4 teams in the NFC South who could be trouble. The Cowgirls, I'm going to call them the Cowgirls because they're the most disappointing team you'll ever meet. They got, not only did they lose to the Saints, they got walloped by the Saints, 44-19. And it really shouldn't have been 44-19. It in theory, it could have been 56-7 kind of thing, or 56-3, with how dominant the Saints looked. It was the Alvin Kamara show. Matt, listen to this stat line, okay? 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdown rushes, and he had 1 receiving touchdown as well. So let's do the math. That's 4 TDs for one player.
It's crazy.
Matt? Are you scared of the Saints?
I look at who they've beaten, and I mean, who did they win against week one? Week one they beat the
They beat the 8th grade version of Carolina's team.
Yeah, so I mean it's the Panthers. Okay, week 2 they beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys, they don't really have a good defense. Their running back is Ezekiel Elliott. Good offensive line's pretty good. Dak's okay. CeeDee Lamb is a monster. I like CeeDee Lamb, man, but they just defensively, they just don't have it, and it has to be on for them to win. No matter who they play, I don't care if they're playing the Panthers. Dak has to be on for them to win. So I look at the Saints' victories, man, and I don't know, man. There were a couple of times against the Panthers where Derek Carr should have been picked off if it was an adequate linebacker there or adequate defensive backs. And against the Cowboys, they just jumped out on the Cowboys early. I love Kamara. Kamara's a beast. He did his thing, but I'm a hold off judgment against the Saints. And I'm not coming from a personal level either. Of course, I'm a Falcons fan, but my respect to the Saints winning. Derek Carr looks good. Kamara looks good. They had a bevy of receivers. Rashid, deep threat, takes the top off of the defense. The offensive line is playing well. Defensive line playing well, but again, it's against the lesser opponents so far. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's look at the next NFC South opponent. They handled their business. Like I said, there's 3 teams in the NFC South that could give a run for everybody their money, and they handled the Lions 20-16. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jared Goff, yes, he had 307 yards passing. He had 2 costly interceptions. Do you think the Buccaneers, it could come down to the Buccaneers and the Falcons for the division?
Oh, I actually think, it'll be all between all 3 of those teams, man. I won't be surprised if all 3 make the playoffs. All 3 can make the playoffs, man. By the look at these other teams in the NFC, it's crazy how the NFC South can go from the weakest division to the strongest in the matter of a season, off season.
Yep.
So that's what good GMing does. Getting the right free agents, getting the right pieces in there. That's what it does. Baker's playing very well as well up in Tampa or down in Tampa. He's not making mistakes. That's always kind of been his thing, man. He's been kind of gung ho, but now last couple of seasons he's not making mistakes. So if Baker can continue to do that, they'll be fine. So who knows? Who knows what I think all to make it.
I think Baker has found his home to finish up his time, which will be in Tampa Bay. I do agree with you. I think it'll be Atlanta and it'll be goodness about St. Louis, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Tampa to determine who could get the division and who could even get. Heck, I might dare I even say the top three or top two seeds in the NFC playoffs. All right, so let's look at the Packers. We know Jordan Love out for quite a while. Anthony Richardson, he's really good. I tip my cap to him. I think the Colts, it'll come down to the Colts and the Texans for the division. But the Packers, they squeaked one out 16-10. What is it? Jacobs ran for 32 carries, 151 yards. That's phenomenal in itself. What are your thoughts on the Packers and Colts game?
Colts need to wake up. They need to wake up. They've lost 2 games they should have won. They had the lead on the Texans last week. They should have beaten. They should have. No way. They should not have beaten the Packers with no Jordan Love. You cannot lose to a team starting Malik Willis as a quarterback, and that's no knock on Malik Willis, but you just can't do that. The Colts have to find a way. Hats off to the Packers for bouncing back. Defense showed up, only held the Colts to 10 points. So, hey, what can you say?
Absolutely. And again, we're not knocking Malik Willis. He is from my alma mater, Roswell High School. Mm-hmm. He does donate $1.5 million a year to the school. I wish he could, donate some to the Sportz Nutz Foundation. Maybe we convince him to do that. I don't know. All right, let's look at the Jets and the Titans. Aaron Rodgers, guys, I'm not sold on Aaron Rodgers. I think, it very well could be. It could be that this could be his last time go around, and they did get the win, 24-17. I was not impressed. I'm not going to discredit Will Levis. Will Levis is doing something special in Tennessee. Nashville, they've sold on him. Calvin Ridley, I think, has found his niche again. I think that's where he belongs. Is Nashville. He's doing good things for them. What are your thoughts on the Jets pulling one 24-17 over the Titans?
Yeah, Jets were a better team. If Will Levis don't stop with these obscene turnovers, man, he had another that was just ridiculous. Like, what are you doing, man? Throw the ball away or something. Do something, man. Just don't throw it to the other team, man, and cost your team the game. Last week they should have won, but he threw that pick 6 at the end. This week it was kind of the same. It was kind of the same thing. He kind of did it again. He threw another late pick and cost his team the game. Yep. So they lost by a touchdown. Titans need to figure it out as well. They have to figure something out. They have a lot of veterans on their team. They shouldn't be having this problem with Will Levis. Will Levis needs to figure it out. But kudos to the Jets, man. Jets scraped by. Aaron Rodgers just did what he needed to do, played it safe. Their young running back, Braylon Allen, showed some good flashes today. And, of course, Breece Hall. So, good win for the Jets.
Absolutely. All right, let's travel ourselves on up to Minnesota. We saw the Vikings. Justin Jefferson hit that 97-yard touchdown run catch for unbelievable highlight. He did get injured. He said nothing really to worry about. The Vikings, though, they pulled out. Sam Darnold has Sam Darnold awakened and found where he needed to be? Because he's 2-0 as a starter. He just beat the San Francisco 49ers, who, last time I checked, were one of the favorites to be in the Super Bowl, if I'm not correct, right?
Yeah, absolutely correct, man. But no, now they don't have Debo and they don't have Christian McCaffrey now. So now it's a whole different ballgame. You don't have your 2 best players on offense. It's a whole different ballgame now. Now you got to generate points. You got to generate points. So now you're putting a whole lot of pressure on the defense right now, man. And the defense made plays. Fred Warner made plays. Everybody on the defense can make plays for the Niners, but their offense is just, Purdy's going to have to show. This is a contract year for Purdy, isn't it?
Yep, it is. It is a contract year for Brock Purdy. You have to do something. Otherwise, They're back at ground zero again.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
who else really is out there for the Niners? I don't really know. I mean,
I don't know.
do you
I don't know.
know?
But Sam, you're right. Sam Darnold, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head, man. Sam Darnold is showing flashes, man. And but isn't that JJ McCarthy's job in the future, man?
Yep, that is JJ McCarthy.
You know he's out for
This
this.
is kind of like to show the NFL that hey, Sam Darnold, don't forget about him. He
Yeah.
can do good things. Heck, who's to say? Brock Purdy, he shows the toilet bowl this year, and the Niners don't retain him, but they need a quarterback. And Sam Darnold, he ends up taking the Vikings to the playoffs, and they win the division. And the Niners need a quarterback. Let's go to Sam Darnold. I mean, we don't know. We will see. All right, let's look at the Seahawks, the Patriots. Okay, we looked at them. What's going? But no, I've looked at them enough to say that both teams are terrible. I don't care. The Seahawks are 2-0. They're terrible. What do you think?
I agree with you, man. Besides DK, man, I mean, Jackson Smith was in the game too. I think it was the first time two receivers had 10 catches or over 100 yards or something like that. It was
Yeah.
But yeah, two really good receivers, the two number one receivers there, man, and Geno Smith is their quarterback. Enough said.
Yep. All right. Let's look at the Carlos Ortiz is a good friend of mine. He has his own show with CBS radio, guys. I feel so bad for him. He is a Giants fan. And I feel bad because the Giants, I'm trying to figure out who's going to be worse. Is it the Giants or is it going to be the Panthers? Because the Giants just lost on no touch. They lost 21-10, but it's not touchdowns, guys. Their field goal kicker hit 7 field goals, and that's how the Commanders won. Matt, are the Giants worse than the Panthers, or are they both just dreadful?
Oh, no, the Giants are not worse than the Panthers. The Giants actually have talent on their roster. So I mean, they got Kayvon Thibodeau. They have some people on there, man. I think Andrew Thomas, offensive lineman from the UGA, is on there. They have people. They just they just need better coaching, man, and they need a better quarterback. Coaching and a quarterback. That's what they need. And I honestly think the Giants are going to address all that this offseason. This is the offseason for it. But no. Giants, they're still legit NFL franchise. They may have made a dumb decision and not paid Saquon, but they're a legit franchise.
Let's look at the dumpster fire in the NFL. For 500 points, Matt, who is the dumpster fire in the NFL?
The Carolina Panthers, man.
It's legit.
It's all
bad.
The
worst team.
Remember about 6 or 7 episodes ago, we had a couple people in the chat saying Carolina was going to at least get like 5-6 wins.
Some people were saying a 7-10 season, guys.
What was I saying? What did I say?
You said, not only did you say no, you said, hell no.
They're not going to win a game. That's exactly what I said. I said,
I laughed.
I'm like, I said, who are they going to
Now, I said 2. I said I would give them maybe 2 wins, right? No. Matt, we're going to look at we're probably looking at the very first ever 0-17 NFL team and the Carolina Panthers. Yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers started 0-21, but they didn't do an entire season and go 0-17. The Panthers, they've scored 13 points the entire season. Guys, Matt, I'm going to ask you this too. Is the Bryce Young experiment done?
No. I'm saying that because it's not his fault. It's not his fault at all, man. They have no. I sent this to you in the text message, man. Give me one player that they have that's Pro Bowl caliber. Just give me one player they have that's Pro Bowl caliber. I'll wait.
Turf.
Who?
The turf monster.
Exactly. They have no talent around him. They bludgeoned themselves dry and they sold their soul just to get him when they could have just stood pat and got C.J. Stroud. I
Yeah,
mean,
they should have, CJ Stroud, and look at how many people are so angry. Matt, if you were to come up here today and you went around and you asked 100 Carolina Panthers fans, who would they rather have? 100 out of 100. You know what they're going to say?
C.J. Stroud.
That's right.
And they were saying
exactly
that
what they're
before
going
the
to say.
draft. That's the thing.
Yep.
Guys gave up too
And
much.
they're going to say, who was the worst owner in NFL history? It's not Daniel Snyder. It's Dave Tepper. Dave. And if you want to go ahead and throw a drink at me, Dave Tepper, I really don't give a darn.
You might miss.
I will. You might miss this because you don't know what the heck you're doing with
on everything
both
else.
franchises.
He'll definitely miss you. He's missing on everything else. So
that's right.
Jesus Christ, man. This is a monstrosity, man. This is
Yes.
terrible. This is worse than those 0-16 Lions. At least 0-16 Lions had talent on their squad. They have nothing. It's like a college team. They have college reserve players on their squad, man. How can they field this and be proud? How can they charge fans their money? How can they take fans' money by putting that product on the floor? If I was a fan, I would demand all of my money back. I would demand my time back. This is ridiculous, man. I'm sorry I'm on a tangent, but this is ridiculous, the product that they put out there, because they don't have to put that product out there. They could have signed some people. They could have made some moves. They could have did so much more, but they stood pat on what they had. And now they're putting the blame all on this young kid, man. And it's not his fault at all.
Exactly. And I'm trying to think of some positives. I mean, folks, the only positive I can think of is if you want to go to the next home game, tickets are all on sale now for $1.80, maybe even $1.25. True story. Look it up. StubHub.com does have, and they're not a sponsor of us, but check them out. There is prices that were $1.25 for the tickets. Yeah, that's the only positive I can see right now. I watched. I do have YouTube TV, but I don't have Sunday Ticket. I've watched both Carolina Panthers games, both of them. I'm like, I can't figure out which was worse, week 1 or week 2. Like, they're honestly getting worse. That's how I see it. But I just can't, for the likes of me, understand why they're playing as bad. I mean, obviously, it's partially due to not having any talent. You do have, players like, Jadeveon Clowney. He came back. I know why he came back, because he wants to finish out his career at home. He lives in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's literally an hour and 45 minutes with traffic where I'm at right now. I understand that, but his time is done. My brother-in-law, Zane, he's a diehard Baltimore Ravens fan. He said Clowney was going to be a good addition for anybody, and unfortunately right now it has not come to fruition. I hope for the city of Charlotte that at least finish the season the way you did last year at 2-15, at least get 2. But at this rate, we're looking at an 0-17 team. All right, let's go to the next one here. I mean, you had 2 former Clemson quarterbacks facing each other, both of which were number 1 picks. Deshaun Watson, he got the better, and I'm gonna say in quotes, the better of the 2, because he was not good. The Jaguars, they're 0-2. The old stat, Matt, that 0-2 teams have a very slim chance to make it into the postseason. But let's look at the Jaguars. Do you think the Jaguars can rebound and win week 3, win their first game next week?
We'll have to see. First off, I'm gonna say both of the quarterbacks playing terrible. They're both playing terrible, and they both have been disappointing. Deshaun Watson has regressed since he's left Houston. And Trevor Lawrence, nobody's saying it, but he's been underwhelming since he's come into the league. Has he gotten to 20 touchdowns thrown yet in his career for a season? Has that happened yet? If it has, I missed it. Trevor,
show me why Trevor, here's what I want you to do, okay? And I want you to do this for both Matt and I. And
make your players better. Make your guys better, man. Peyton could do it. This and that. He was deemed one of the ones. He was deemed one of the ones, man. Make your guys better.
But wait, remember they were saying generational player.
Yes, they were. Here in Georgia.
Show us. Yes. You did phenomenal things in Cartersville. You lit it up left and right. were part of a phenomenal talent at Clemson. Come on, Trevor. You were the last one still playing out of the top 10 of your draft class. You're the only one left. Everybody else is either out of the league or they're bench riders. Come on, you got to do it. Show me what's going on. All right, we're not gonna look at the Ravens and Raiders long. We're just a quick view on this one. Ravens, disappointing to see them down. They're 0-2. I think they'll bounce back. What do you think?
I think they'll bounce back too, man. The schedule softens up a bit. I think Lamar team will come to form. They'll get acclimated with Derrick Henry. Too much talent for that team not to make the playoffs.
Yep. All right. The Arizona, I'm about to say the Carolina Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr. lit it up. 4 receptions, 130 yards, but he grabbed 2 TDs. He looked almost like it was his dad. He really looked phenomenal. But it is the Arizona Cardinals. I'm expecting to see them start to fall off real quick. I think they will be a hair better. I'm saying maybe a 7-10 kind of season. But Matt, what do you think about? Do you think it's time for the Rams to really consider moving on from Stafford? Because I mean they're 0-2.
Well, the Rams, they can't. Remember, they sold their soul for Stafford, man. They give up all their picks and everything, man. So they have to keep Stafford because they have to fill out a certain amount of money for the cap each year. So if they don't have Stafford, they won't make the cap or the amount that they have to pay. So they're going to keep Stafford on there, man. I mean, they can be bad now. They won a Super Bowl. That move won them the Super Bowl. They're going through injuries right now, man. Nakua and Cooper Kupp are down now. So, man, it's going to be an ugly season for them. But do they even have their next draft pick for this next draft? I don't even know. I hope so.
I think it's like the 4th round, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember they were saying something like it wasn't until 2026, I believe, is when they get their 1st round pick back because
that's crazy.
You're right. They sold their soul.
Yeah, so they're going to be a dumpster fire for the next 2 seasons, man. I mean, but it was at the expense of a Super Bowl. Look, I'll tell you this. I know dang near everybody in Atlanta, they'll go through a dumpster fire for like 4 or 5 years for a Super Bowl ring, man. So I can't knock it. But yeah, man, it is what it is with that group, man. They struck gold with Puka Nacua last season, man. So unfortunately, he got injured this season. So they're just gonna have to, try to ride this wave, try to grind it out. They'll get about 4 or 5 wins this season.
Absolutely. All right, let's look at week 3 because we don't want to continue harping on everything because obviously it's a lot. But all right. Guys, it was a phenomenal week 3 in college football. Matt and I were talking. Georgia, one of the biggest games is Georgia, Kentucky. I'm disappointed in Georgia. But they did come back to reality. They showed that they're not invincible. Georgia got moved down. Texas, they moved up to number 1. Do you agree with them ranking switching Georgia and Texas between 1 and 2?
I don't, for the simple fact that all Georgia and Kentucky games are like this. Abe said it last week when he was on here. It was like, man, all the games are close when it comes to Kentucky. It's something about Kentucky. So the last 4 or 5 years, or whatever, man. Whenever Georgia and Kentucky played each other, it's always been a close game that comes down to the wire. Don't know why. Kentucky just has Georgia's number. Don't know why.
That's right.
Well, I want them moving down. Georgia's still the best team in the country, man. But hey, man, I mean, Texas is so dominant. But see, my thing with them is their quarterback Ewers. I never say his name right.
Ewers.
Yeah, he went down. Then he went down, and Arch Manning came and did his thing. So, but Arch Manning isn't going to beat UGA. Arch Manning isn't going to, if they played each other and Ewers wasn't there. So you got to look at it that. How long is Ewers out?
So it's a week. They said they can see it as a week by week kind of thing. He's not playing next week or this week, I should say. So Arch is probably starting, which 9 for 12, 223 and 4 touchdowns, and he ran for 1, so 5 total touchdowns. That's phenomenal for them. I think if Arch, say he comes out for the next 2 weeks and goes 25 for 26.
What are you going to do?
And has 17 touchdowns or something like that. Something crazy, right? Something ridiculous. Then you got to wonder, whose team will it be? Will it be Quinn Ewers or will it be Arch Manning? All right, then.
What?
Ewers
is good.
Yes, he is. He's very good, but so is Arch. Now, Arch is starting to show, he does have that Manning gene. So who knows? All right, let's look at the Civil War that happened. Oregon State. Everybody was saying Oregon State was going to dominate. Nope. Oregon won 49-14. I tip my cap to Oregon. They finally stepped up.
Yes,
Dylan Gabriel played the way we expect him to be.
Yep.
Hopefully that means we're done, seeing the barely skating by of the hair on their chin kind of games,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, so now let's go. Let's look at this. Here is a little interesting, and then we'll talk about one more game after that. Michigan versus Arkansas State. Michigan won only by 10. Arkansas State, yes, they're 2-1, but Michigan is the 17th best team in the nation, and you only won by 10 points to Arkansas State. What do you think about that?
Well, it was 21-3 at half. I think it was a classic case of you take your foot off the gas and you can't accelerate back. You can't get back to that level of intensity because you're already deflated yourself. So I know the Arkansas State scored a quick couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and then Michigan scored again to kind of make sure put that gap between them. But it's a classic case, man. It took your foot off the gas. I mean, look at the other teams. Tennessee won like 71-0,
71-0 over Kent State.
Yeah,
and then Kent State had the audacity to talk trash.
Yeah, exactly. You saw that. So other teams they put the foot on them. You got to put your foot on the throat in college because these teams are set for coming back. So you got to take them out early. They didn't do that. Michigan took the foot off the gas and they almost came back to bite them.
That's right. All right, one game I want to talk about real quick. It's literally just tipping my cap to, and then we're going to talk about the big one. Oklahoma 34-19 over Tulane. Tip your cap to Tulane. Tulane is playing for real football. I see big things, and there is that report that has come out. We should see a decision at any time Tulane is joining the Pac-12. It's going to happen, guys. It's Tulane and Memphis are the favorites. Then we have seen also that Air Force is joining the AAC. Hawaii is possibly joining the AAC. So we're about to see some crazy things. Tip my cap, though, Matt, to Tulane. They're hanging tough with the big boys. I'm still very proud of them.
Yes.
Are you agreeing with that?
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. They're trying, man. You can tell they're putting in, the effort. They just don't have the actual recruits right now. But if they continue along their path, man, they'll start getting those, 4-star athletes, and then maybe with that occasional 1 5-star here, 1 5-star there, and they'll grow. Yep.
All right. Now the big one. LSU and South Carolina. South Carolina had LSU by the ring of the throat.
Had them.
And they let LSU come back. Brian Kelly, he's not going to let you walk away with, with a beat down the way they were. Now, were there some questionable calls? Yes, there's questionable calls in any game, though. But, the 2 pick sixes, the first one, guys, if you look at it, he pulled him by the horse collar. It legit was a horse collar tackle. Do not fault the refs for calling that. Now, the pick 6 that was called back for roughing, yes, it was roughing. I don't want to hear that it wasn't, because it was. South Carolina had a monumental task in front of them. You had the opportunity to do it. Had you kept your foot on the gas, you would have won easily. But you, like Matt just said, you let it go. You got bit in the backside. LSU won 36-33. Does that mean South Carolina takes a free fall? Oh, it absolutely means it could. It only guys, just remember, it is a week-to-week kind of thing. However, it takes one. It takes one bad loss, and the wheels can fall off, and they can fall off rather quick. Well, am I saying that's going to happen? I don't know. I'm not saying that it will, and I'm not saying it won't. There is a possibility. So just before warned on that one, I mean, Matt, do you agree that there is a possibility that the wheels could fall off, and you do see South Carolina, fall down and not get back up? Oh, Matt has jumped off, folks. All right, guys, just want to quickly touch base since Matt has jumped off. I'm going to touch base. We got to go to an Anderson University football game. Had a lot of fun. We will be showing pictures on them. They should be up on our Facebook page at the Sportz Nutz. Hey, check them out. Highly recommend, guys. It was a fun event. They won 44-14 over LaGrange College. Guys, it has been a long episode. We're going on an hour and 20 minutes. Thank you so much for everybody that you did tune in. I know there wasn't a lot of people tonight. It's okay. We still love you. Just keep in mind, this Friday, we have a good guest coming. I'm not going to get too deep in it. I want you guys to be prepared. Matt is coming back now, but I want you guys to be prepared for it. Matt, are you there? No, not yet. Guys, I want you to be prepared for it. It's going to be a lot of fun for who we have coming on. He is set to come up this Friday. It is a good friend of ours, of Matt Nines. And then also we have another good guest coming in on next Tuesday. We have another guest coming in on next Friday. Please keep your eyes open for it. Guys, shirts are in for the Sportz Nutz. We do have them. They are $13. We do take Cash App. We have small, we have large, medium, we have large, extra large, 2XL, 3XL. This is what they look like. Please get your orders in today. We will get more coming in. We have keychains coming in. We have tumblers that are going to be coming in. We have cups. We have pullovers. We have polos. We have jackets. We have it coming. Be ready. Be prepared. Guys, I have had a blast talking to you. Matt has had a blast talking to you. He is having some technical difficulties. It's okay. It is coming to the end of the show. For our good friend, Greg Sullivan, the president and owner of the Carolina Disco Turkeys. Check them out, guys. They have some really cool merch. Hey, we're going to support them 100% of the way for the Sportz Nutz. So with that being said, for my man, Matt, who is having technical difficulties, I am Brandon, as you know, saying peace up, A-Town down. We love you. We will see you guys again on Friday. And as Matt would always say, don't get flagged. So, guys, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here. It is 8:51. We have been to your ear for an hour and 22 minutes. And thank you so much for everything. We will see you on the next episode of the Sportz Nutz. Until then, good night. Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's the thing. He had a career